And in this segment, I'm going to be cooking a dish out of the Ottolenghi cookbook. I'm going to be cooking a dish out of the Jamie Oliver cookbook. And I'm going to be cooking a dish out of Brooki's cookbook, and it's called Bake with Brooki. So stay with us and come to my kitchen. Hello everyone, hi, Cheryl Arkle. Welcome, Thursday 2 p.m. This is not What Are You Reading? Although you could tell us what you're reading. But anyway, it's not. It's a new segment that we're hoping to have monthly, and it's called Come to My Kitchen. And here we are. We're in the kitchen. Now, the way this is going to work is I've cooked some food out of the cookbooks, which you saw in the intro. We're going to have some champagne, and we've got some people here who are going to eat the food and tell us what they think. So let me start with the champagne and maybe get Dot over here to ask me some questions about the food. Oh, firstly, can we see all the food? This is the Jamie Oliver dish, and it's fish. Hi, Dot.
Hello. It smells amazing.
It's really amazing. And, you know, it's so simple to make. It's just a tray bake, and I've just transferred it from the tray to a serving dish. And it's fish and cannellini beans and tomatoes and beautiful garlic breadcrumbs, which I think are the secret to the flavour of that. And then here we've got Ottolenghi's recipe, which is a whole chicken with orzo or rizzoni, if you like. Can we see that? Can you see that on set? I don't know if you can. But anyway, there it is there. So Cheryl Arkle, welcome to my kitchen. Today we've got some lovely testers, including Dot, and some more that are coming through to taste the food. And you at home, I wish you could taste it, but you can't. But tell us in comments, for instance, what are you cooking? What is it that you like? Do you think you'd like these dishes? So we've got chicken with orzo, fish with cannellini beans and breadcrumbs. We've got some cookies coming up from Brooki. I'll just give you a sneak peek because I've just taken them out of the oven. Look at this. Can we see that? Yeah, here they are. And these are the Brooki cookies. And we're going to have those today as well. Now, listen, we're going to Verity's here and we're going to read out comments. So if you've got any comments or any feedback, let me know. Now, firstly, well, I might get somebody to open. Oh, no, I can do this. I was thinking maybe I can't do the champagne. Oh, yes, I am going to pass the bottle of champagne to lovely Oliver, and he's going to open it for me. And then I'm going to dish up your plate. Any questions?
Oh, it just looks amazing.
It's amazing.
So the beans are under the fish?
Yes, so it's it's a tray bake, so you can do it in a tray or the oven tray or whatever you like. I just transferred it to this because it just looks nicer in terms of serving. Oh, thank you. That's what we needed to hear. And so you've got cannellini beans.
Yep.
And you've got tomatoes, but the flavour, definitely the garlic flavour, and that richness of flavour comes from the garlic breadcrumbs. I made the bread, just so you know. There is also anchovies in here. Now that's optional. You don't have to put them in. I love anchovies. Well, there are definitely anchovies in there. Good. So it's really lovely. And the fish is barramundi, but you can use any white fish. I just use barramundi because that's what they had at the fish shop. Okay, where would you like to start first?
I'll have both of these. Can we have both of them?
Yes, you can.
Yes,
you can have both.
Is that a big cinnamon stick?
Yes, that's a big. Do you like leg or breast?
Leg would be great, actually.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Now, hang on a second, because what I want to do is just give you a little bit of garnish.
Oh, that.
Welcome, everyone. Cheryl Arkle. Welcome to my kitchen. How good is that? And would you like some fish as well?
Yes, please.
You've got to taste both. You've got a big portion in terms of taste test there.
I do.
But you'll be right.
That's right, I'm hungry.
There you go. Now, you've got to come back. You're working for your food here today. You've got to come back and tell us what you think.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. All right. Great.
All right.
No, thank you. And we'll get you a glass of champagne. Actually, I might get somebody else to do that for me.
Do you want me to pour them?
Yes. Why don't you do that, Don? Hi, everybody. Cheryl Arkle. This is Welcome to My Kitchen, or Come to My Kitchen if you like. Today we're taste testing a few recipes out of the new Ottolenghi cookbook, the new Jamie Oliver cookbook, and the absolutely brand new Brooki cookbook, which I'm super excited about.
We have a question from the audience. Kylie wants to know, how long do you spend in your kitchen cooking throughout the week?
Well, Kylie, I probably spend more than I should because I just love cooking so much. I probably never get takeout ever. I do go out, and I don't cook every night, but because I live alone, so I pretty much cook 2 or 3 times a week, and then just eat leftovers. But I never cook for myself. I usually cook for a lot of people. So most weekends I have family or friends around. Last weekend I had 9 people around for dinner, and I cooked a feast, and I lived off that for the rest of the week, and my brother came around and got some. So I don't have the daily cooking as you do when you've got a family and children, but I just enjoy cooking so much. Like, for instance, the cannellini beans. I would never buy a can of beans. I mean, I will make my own beans. But, that's optional. If you're time poor, go ahead and use tin beans. They're good anyway. Any other questions?
No, it's just everyone says the cookies look yummy. A lot of people are saying hi, and Kylie said, Natasha says perfect time for lunch.
Perfect time for lunch. So, Anna, would you want your lunch?
Yes,
what would you like? Do you want the fish?
Oh, both, please.
Both? Okay.
It looks amazing.
It does look amazing,
It smells
doesn't
amazing.
it? Do you cook yourself?
I do. I try to cook a few times a week, and on the weekend mostly I try to get more into it because I am a bit time poor on the weekdays. Yes, but I do love to cook.
And do you do the thing where you might cook a lot on the weekend and then just have some leftovers going in the fridge?
Yeah, definitely.
that's
Yeah,
what I
all week.
do.
That sort of, does me for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hang on, let me just give you some garnish there.
And what else is in this one as well as the...
Oh, do you love orzo?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, all it is, it's so simple to make. You just start off frying off some onion and celery and garlic, lots of garlic, cinnamon sticks. And then you brown the chicken, and then you add the orzo and the stock. Now, because I like to cook, and because most nights I'll get up and make something, not a meal prep. Like last night I made stock. Sometimes I make bread. I make things with the freezer. I'll make cookies. So I made some chicken stock. So we've got a double flavour here. You don't have to do that. It's still going to taste really good without chicken stock. Okay, would you like to taste the fish?
Yes, please. Yes,
okay.
definitely.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
And that's some fish for you. Okay, now I think I need a glass of champagne. In short.
I do too. Thank you so
Come
much.
back and tell me what you think.
I will. Here we are.
Okay, here we are. So
sorry,
there we go.
earlier.
Cheers. Cheers. Okay, so to those at home, cheers, and thank you
Cheers
for
to
joining us.
you.
Yeah, so tell me, what are you cooking for dinner tonight? I mean, do you guys cook every day? I'd really like to know your routine. I prefer to sit on the lounge and read a book most of the nights rather than cook, but I will always have something out. Like, I'll make my own yogurt. I make my own vanilla extract, which I showed the guys today. So tell me what your routine is and what you do. And let me just have a sip of champagne.
Sure. I'm
Okay.
going to go and
All
try
right.
some of this.
We've got a test coming up.
Giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, also, we've got a giveaway today. If you want these books, and believe me, you do, if you want the Brooki cookbook or the Ottolenghi cookbook or the Jamie Oliver cookbook, tag a friend. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Tag a friend and tell us why you're tagging that friend. Is that friend a good cook? Do you want that friend to know about these cookbooks, or do you want them to know about better reading or whatever? And you will go into the draw to win. We're giving a copy of each away, so there'll be three prizes to give out. Is that right, Verity? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yep, I did.
And a few more questions. This might be a bit of a difficult one. Malvina asked, top cookbooks, or is that too hard to define? Love your kitchen, Cheryl.
Thank you. I've got so many cookbooks. Do you know, I definitely can answer that question. My favourite cookbook is the cookbook of the moment. I am really fad-driven by cookbooks. So if there's, like at the moment, I just am loving the Brooki cookbook so much. I'm reading it. I like her story. I'm enjoying that so much. You can't see this because the camera is in my kitchen, but if you were to turn the camera around, where I sit at night, I'm just surrounded by piles and piles of cookbooks, and I pick them all up and read them. And even the other day, I bought a cookbook, not knowing that it wasn't metric. It was imperial, so it was the American version. And I looked at all the recipes and I thought, well, that was a waste of money. But in actual fact, I got engrossed in the story and kept reading it anyway. So I've still got it. I mean, I am a scale person rather than a cup person. Let's do hands. Who's cup, who's scales?
I'm scales.
Scale, yeah. It really, and do you know scales have come a long way? You can get USB charged scales rather than batteries, because the battery situation used to drive me crazy. And now I've got USB scales and I just live by them, you know. And so I charge them overnight and then just have it for the next day. Anyway, Tess, are you going to come and eat? Okay.
Absolutely.
Chicken.
Oh, wait.
Now these people are here to taste the dinner and tell me what they think. So I don't want a bad review at all. This one's probably a little bit awkward to chop up.
And how long do these take to make?
Well, the chicken, a lot of cooking is in time when you're not doing anything. So, for instance, this chicken was super simple to make in that once you browned it, hang on, you didn't get much there. Once I browned it and put it together, it really only took 50 minutes in the oven. And so while that's in the oven, right, I'm making everything else. I made the fish. So it really is easy.
So if you were, I guess, like a lot of people struggle to cook during the week, do you think these ones are quite easy to
Yes, and you know, that's a really good question, Tess, because this one can be made, you can make this on Sunday and you can eat it all week.
Okay.
Just keep reheating the bits you want.
Amazing.
Don't double reheat. Don't reheat and put back in the fridge. That's a no-no because that's salmonella. But what you can do is portion it out, right? Portion it out and then reheat it as you go. Put it in containers or freeze it or whatever you like.
Amazing.
There you go. There's a piece of fish.
Can't wait to eat this.
Okay, all right. We've got one more taster, I think. Hello, Olivia.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm very excited.
Are you really excited? Are you a cook?
I am. I love to cook.
Oh, wow. Well, so you will know exactly what's going on here, right?
It's so delightful to have someone else cook from Ottolenghi.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's just really nice to be cooked for, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you that. And would you like some fish?
Please.
Yeah.
I have a question about the fish.
Yes.
I'm interested in what you've used to flavour this fish.
I
Has this
know.
got lemon?
It's so good. Can I just, well, it's in the Jamie Oliver cookbook, right? And I really was drawn to it because you marinate the fish just a couple of hours before. You marinate the fish in lemon rind and rosemary, salt, pepper, and olive oil. And then you just set it aside, and while you're making everything else, it's ready to go. But I think the flavour comes from the anchovy as well, and I quite like anchovy. And also the flavour comes from the garlic, as I said earlier, the garlic bread crumbs, which are, just intensely flavoured and really yummy. So there you go. So you could make that. And it's really, it's a beginner's recipe for sure. Okay,
Very
well,
excited
enjoy.
to try. Thank you.
Okay, so here we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 taste testers going on. And while they're munching on their food, I'm going to have a sip of champagne because that's what I feel like today. But I'm going to ask you all at home, what are you cooking? What are you guys doing?
I have lots of comments. So
Okay.
Kylie Ann asked, what is your favourite type of dish to cook, and does that influence the type of cookbooks you enjoy reading?
Yeah, well, I love cooking Lebanese food. Most of you know that Lebanese is my heritage. And I think, I think my favourite all-time food is tabbouleh. I think that's got to be my favourite, like if that's my last meal, maybe. Although I was thinking about this the other day, my other favourite meal of the day is simply my breakfast, which is coffee and toast. And I make bread, so it's sourdough bread that I make. And I love that meal. Anyway, I was telling someone the other day that maybe coffee and toast would be my last meal because it is really my favourite and a great way for me to start the day. And I'm usually out on my balcony with the kookaburras and we're chatting about the day. And anyway, I told my friend that I think that, maybe toast and coffee is gazumped to bully. And he said, well, in that case, you're going to have to be executed in the morning at breakfast. And I thought, wow, that was a good bit of detail, right? Isn't it?
Thanks, friend.
Yeah, thanks, friend. But because he said you can't be executed at 5 o'clock at night because you're not going to have your coffee and toast. I thought he made a very good point. But anyway, yes, I am. Although, do you know, I've got, Ottolenghi, I've got Karen Martini, who I like. I'm just having a look at my cookbook shelf. Who else? Jamie Oliver. I remember the very first Jamie Oliver cookbook, and I was a buyer at Myer Grace Brothers back then, and the first lot I bought 20,000 of Jamie Oliver, and it sold out like that. That was his first book. So there you go. So I do like that. I do like books where they're more about food and flavour rather than assembly. There are a lot of books out there that are about how you assemble food, and that's really not for me. Now, listen, in terms of flavour, people always say, oh, the food tastes so good. Flavour comes from tasting and layering. You've got to taste as you go. I know exactly what that chicken and orzo tastes like, even though I haven't eaten it yet, because I was tasting it as I go. So you adjust the seasoning, you add this, you take out that, whatever. And I think that's really important in terms of flavour. And for this dish, I did make the stock, and the stock gives that another level of flavour. As with the fish, I think the anchovies give it another level of flavour. How are you guys going over there? We're enjoying
loving
it.
it. It's
Amazing.
fantastic.
Incredible.
There you go. Okay, so Cheryl Arkle, this is something different. Come to my kitchen, which is where we are now, and I am making, I have made a chicken out of the Ottolenghi cookbook, fish out of the Jamie Oliver cookbook, and cookies out of the Brooki cookbook. Okay, more questions?
Yes, Alina asked, do you use an air fryer at all?
Never. No, I don't use an air. People have, what is that other apparatus that's really expensive that people use?
Yeah.
Thermomix? What is it? Thermomix, yeah. So air fryers, Thermomix, all those things I don't, because as you can see, my kitchen is quite small and it's tight. And I think an oven is very good. So I use my oven for most things, and I use my stove top for most things, and I don't have a microwave either. So, I'm melting chocolate in a double boiler and things like that. But that's just my personal preference. I don't really like a lot of appliances in the kitchen, although I do have my KitchenAid, which I adore. Other questions?
There's a comment which I'm going to turn into a question. It's from Wendy. She says she's not a cookbook person, but she likes stories revolving around food. Since you're such a foodie, do you agree with her about stories revolving around food, and do you have a favourite one?
Oh my God, Elizabeth David and Nigella Lawson. What's that? Help me out here. There's a Nigella Lawson cookbook that is just a story. What is that called? How to Eat. That's right here on my bookshelf. And you know what? Do yourself a favour and listen to the audio, because she reads it. And it's really magnificent. Nigella reads it herself. So yes, I am definitely a reader of cookbooks. I like the history. There are so many. Stephanie Alexander is another one. There's so many that I can just pull out now. And I am still that kind of person. If I'm cooking something, like if I've got friends around, which I always do, I start with the cookbooks. I don't start with looking online. Look, sometimes I do. If I've got, an abundance of apples and I want to do something with it, I might just Google an online recipe. But usually I need to be inspired by the cookbook, and most of my recipes come from there. And also, just so you know, I do not make up any recipes. Mostly everything I cook has either come from my mother, who taught me how to cook, beautiful Lebanese food, or a cookbook. And even though sometimes I think I create things, I actually don't. It's just that I've remembered it. I've read it somewhere and I've remembered it. And then, of course, I make it up and think, oh, that was clever of you, Cheryl. And then I read it in a recipe book a couple of nights later. So, yeah. That answered that question, Brooki?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah?
We have a few more comments. Somebody said they wish they had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I know. We really need that. Yeah.
Kylie says she made a good savoury mince. She makes a good savoury mince every now and then, and she just had it for the first time in a while last night for tea.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, those very simple comfort foods are so delicious. Now, I grew up eating Lebanese food because my mother just cooked Lebanese food while we were growing up because that's what she knew. But as I started to grow up, I made friends, and I had, Australian friends, as we used to call them, and they would invite me to dinner. And I remember one time going to a friend's house and they had savoury mince. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I'd never seen it, right? And then once I tasted it, I was a convert. It's really quite delicious. Although I did go to a friend's house one night and I had chicken noodle soup, but it was out of the packet and I started to cry because there was no chicken in it and it didn't taste like chicken, chicken soup. And the mother rang my mother and said she won't eat, she's upset. And my mother said, put her on the phone, back in the days of the landline, and I get on the phone and my mother just gave me the biggest lecture and said, don't be rude, you eat what you're given. And I'm like, but there's no chicken in it. She's like, just eat what you're given. So anyway, that was that story. And, you know, people's perception and relationship of food with food is so varied, actually, isn't it? I mean, I'm quite passionate about it, but not everybody is. Anyway, what else?
And one more, do you watch the television program some of the cooks make which complements their cookbook?
I don't watch MasterChef and all those big shows because that's not the style of cooking that I like. You know, I'm not a chef style cook, but I do follow a few people on YouTube that I really like. I follow Carla Lala Music and I follow Claire Safford's for cooking desserts. Anyone follow them? And I've got Claire's cookbook. Yeah, I love it. That's my pastry recipes out of her book. So that's about it that I do in terms. I don't watch a lot of TV at all, actually. But anyway, okay. So how are we going? We got more?
Yeah. Is this your favourite Jamie Oliver cookbook to date?
Well, so far so good. Yes, I would have to say that. Although I am a nostalgic person as well, so my first one is also the favourite. But you know, that's just me. But he's such a great cook, and I will say this, and I've said this forever, is that Jamie knows flavour. Jamie cooks with flavour. You know, I made a bean dish a couple of weeks ago, a white bean, like a cannellini, but it was with cream and leeks and whatever. And I thought, genius, Cheryl, that just tastes fantastic. And a couple of weeks later, I was flicking through Jamie cookbook and there was the recipe. And I must have read it and remembered it and thought, is that copyright? Am I breaking copyright by doing that?
I don't know, it's a great story. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. How are you guys going? Are you ready for the cookies yet? Well, we've read up the cookies.
I'm almost.
Okay, all right, well, I'm going to move that aside. Pardon?
We can do one more comment then.
Yes, go on.
Okay, I'll just wait. Carolyn says that Jane Grigson was one of her favourite
Oh,
cookery
yes.
writers. Her vegetable cookbook was brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried her recipes?
I have actually. I think, is this right that Jane is the granddaughter of Margaret Fulton? Is that correct? I think that might be right. Can somebody Google that?
Right now.
And yes, I have definitely. I do have a cookbook of hers. Do you know, I loved Margaret Fulton as well. I really did. And when she died, I was very, very sad. I'm going to show you this. When many years ago, I was gifted the Margaret Fulton cookbook, and that started. Look how old it is. I think there might even be a date in there. But you know, that is a cookbook that I still use. She was an extraordinary cook and a very, very good baker. So I've had this book, as you can see, for some time. There might be a date in it somewhere. Anyway, I've got it. So there you go. I think Jane Grigson is her granddaughter or her daughter. Did we get that? No? Okay, maybe I got that wrong. Sorry.
And then also, do you like Maggie beer at all as a cook?
Maggie beer. I do. Oh, I thought that was my. Oh, here it is. I love Maggie beer. And this is one of my favourite cookbooks, and I think she's extraordinary. Again, both Maggie and Stephanie know flavour. But you know, I'm more and more, as I'm growing up, I'm kind of looking more at diversity. You know, like one of my favourite books here is the Lebanese cookbook as well. Anyway, there's so many things that I could go through and I won't bore you with it. But, you know, once you start with one cookbook, you really can't stop. I mean, this apartment's full of cookbooks. My bedside table is, I won't take you in there, but that's full of cookbooks as well. Okay, I'm going to bring the cookies out. And then we're going to get the girls back and tell us what they think. Look at this. Look. Do you know, I'm so happy with these. I'm going to hold one up. and I'm going to come right here. So this is the Brooki cookie, and I think it's the classic or the original.
Classic chocolate chip cookie.
Classic chocolate chip cookie. It's 150 grams, so you have to weigh it when you're making it up. I make it a couple of days before and I freeze them. So I didn't really have to do anything today other than put them in the oven, and they freeze really well. Super simple to make. And look at that. I mean, honestly, I think it's perfection. But let me just show you the inside. Can you see that?
Is that?
Up?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you guys come try the cookies, because these are a gift, I gotta tell you. And you know what? I'm gonna try them. Look at that. Okay, who loves cookies? Tell me who loves cookies.
Doesn't everyone?
We all
Come and get a cookie. So ladies,
Should we all come
get
up?
a cookie and then tell me.
We're too excited, we're all coming.
Yeah.
Oh,
Crowd the cookies.
These are our testers, right? Tell me, what did you like? These lovely ladies have just eaten the chicken and the fish.
Oh, I love both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I especially love the beans, and there was something a little spicy in there. That was beautiful.
That was in the chicken.
And the chicken.
Yeah, I
With
can
the
taste the
chili.
cinnamon in the chicken.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I love that. That was
Mhm.
really
Love
nice.
orzo as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
so
are
awesome.
orzo.
I never used to eat orzo, but now it's like.
It's very underrated,
Yeah.
but it is really good. Okay, I've got a mouthful.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Lots of I love cookies comments.
Mhm.
Everyone loves cookies.
Carolyn said that Jane Brewston was an English cookery writer in the last part of the last century, and her daughter is involved with cooking, so perhaps that is what you were thinking.
Oh,
of.
maybe I got confused, yeah. Look up who Margaret Fulton's daughter is. They might have similar names. Anyway, that's it from us.
That's a
What do
good
you-
cookie.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
having them a little bit warm like this is amazing
Oh,
because the chocolate is still a bit melted.
Mhm.
That is so awesome.
These are so good.
That is up there with like the best cookie.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
too.
the best cookie I've ever had.
And can I tell you, super easy to make. Very, very simple. Go try it, because it is really the easiest cookie recipe and the best. And that's me eating with a mouthful.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, tag a friend. You can win one of the cookbooks. That's it from us. See you next time.